So I'm hearing a lot of people are struggling with the reload kills in Modern Warfare for the camo challenges, and so today I thought I'd make a video on it. All I ask in return is that if you find it useful, feel free to leave a like. It really helps me out and helps other people find the video, and also make sure to subscribe with post notifications turned on so you don't miss any of my upcoming Modern Warfare videos. But anyway, let's jump right into the video. So I think let's start off by talking about what reload kills are, how to actually get them, and then I'll be throwing some awesome tips your way. So for this challenge, you need to get 50 kills on enemies shortly after reloading your weapon. In the game so far that I've had and through a bit of testing, I found that roughly 2 to 3 seconds after reloading you can get a kill. Any later than that and it won't count. So you want to be getting a kill after reloading within 2 to 3 seconds. Now I generally like playing in free-for-all, and that's because there's a lot of enemies around. So this obviously means that you're more likely to get more kills, and therefore the number of reload kills you can get can go up. I would also say that headquarters can be quite good as well, because you can sort of stay in the area where the headquarters are, and there'll be lots of enemies flocking to that area to try and capture the headquarters, at which point you can sort of just reload your weapon quickly and shoot an enemy. You can keep doing that by kind of holding down the headquarters and moving to wherever the headquarters is. Similarly, you can also go into ground war and do that. You can kind of go to, the best place would probably be the middle flag in ground war, sort of hold down the area. Again, sort of reload your weapon a couple of seconds before killing an enemy if you see any, and that'll probably be the best way to go about it. But to be honest with you, I prefer free-for-all. It's just a better way to get kills in my opinion, and it's less annoying doing them that way. You're going to be wanting to vote for maps with close quarter and combat / medium range engagement gameplay, so that's kind of maps like Piccadilly, Gun Runner, also Hackney Yard, that kind of thing. Alright, now let's move on to the special tips, and then we'll talk about the class setup to use. So I think the best thing I can say to you guys to start off with is that whenever you spawn into the game, either when you start the match or when you die and you respawn again, you always want to shoot one bullet from your weapon as soon as you spawn. And then what you want to do is you want to just keep it there without reloading that final bullet. The reason for this is because that way, if you see an enemy, you can quickly reload and kill them. That way you don't have to actually shoot any bullets first and then reload, which takes longer and you're less likely to live. So what you want to do, like I say, spawn in, shoot a bullet, and then when you see an enemy, you want to reload quickly and then kill them. Another really useful tip is to make sure that when you're reloading, do it while you're aiming down sight. So in this game, it's got a feature where you don't have to sort of reload and then aim back down sight. You can do it all in one. So my suggestion would be, if you see an enemy, aim at them, and while you're holding the aim trigger down, you then also want to reload, because as soon as you've done reloading, you can shoot straight at them. You can use that time to sort of focus on the target, so you don't have to spend time popping in and out of ADS. The next thing is, when you are reloading, obviously you're a little bit vulnerable, so if you see an enemy that's kind of close to you and you think it might be a bit dangerous to just stand there and reload, i.e. if you might die in that time, you can always sort of pop round to the side of a wall or a piece of cover or something just for a second to reload, and then pop back out again and shoot them. Obviously that's more difficult, it's more time consuming, it might not count all of the time, but if you feel like you're going to die, it's worth doing that rather than just dying. So always use cover to your advantage. What you can also do is, if you see there's an enemy that's sort of like up on a rooftop, or you're up on a rooftop and they're down on the ground, that's quite good as well, because you're not always in their field of view, so they won't necessarily see you. So then you can sort of pre-aim, reload, and then sort of shoot straight at them. It works wonders and it's really good at getting kills. Next, I say it's important to make sure you pre-aim when sort of going around corners and that kind of thing. So as I'll show you in the setup, it's generally good to go for a setup which allows you to sort of walk faster while you're aiming down sight, and that way when you go around corners, pre-aim, you'll already have a bullet emptied from your chamber, meaning that you can, as soon as you see an enemy, quickly reload and then shoot them. And pre-aiming obviously makes that a little bit quicker and you're less likely to die. I'd say it's also very important to make sure that you're using the minimap and the compass to actually be aware of enemy locations. Sometimes it can be difficult, you don't know where they are, so definitely make sure you are actually looking at the minimap, but also, just as importantly, if not more so, the compass. It will tell you where enemies are firing and which direction they're in. It's a bit confusing, but once you're sort of used to it, it's easy to sort of interpret, so make sure you're checking that to find out where the enemies are, which direction, that kind of thing. If you've tried to reload and you feel like by the time you finish reloading and shoot the enemy, it would have gone past 2 to 3 seconds and therefore it won't count, you can just always shoot another bullet and reload again. So don't be afraid to do that. It's better doing that than if you know you're going to go over the time limit, then it's pointless. So you might as well reload again. If, for example, let's say you reloaded and the enemy sort of went around a corner, you think, I can't find them. What you want to do is then sort of try and catch up to them, pre-aim, and obviously reload again so that you're ready for the next encounter. So always remember that you can reload again if you need to. As soon as you get a kill on an enemy, or if you mess up, you want to reload again. So reload all the time if there's a possibility that there's an enemy nearby that you can kill I'm going to show you guys a quick setup as well. This has got some very useful attachments and perks and whatnot, so we're going to go through that quickly just to help you guys out as well. What I went for was, first of all, an optic. I went for the reflex sight. In particular, I went for the monocle one, but you can go for any. It's just a nice clear sight. It's easy to see the enemies. It's easy to shoot them, so definitely you can't go wrong with a reflex sight. I've then also put on a tac laser, and this is good because it increases your ADS speed, it increases your stability when aiming, and it also increases the aim walking steadiness. So basically how steady your gun is while you're walking and your aim down sight. So it all helps to kind of keep on target to shoot the enemy. I've also put on stock. In particular, I put on the Forged Tac Ultralight stock, and this is just because it increases the aim walking movement speed. So this means that the tac laser, you can aim down sight really fast if there's an enemy, but you can keep aiming down sight and walk quite fast still with this stock, otherwise you walk very slowly. I've then also put on sleight of hand as a perk, and this is good because it increases the reload speed, and that obviously means that the amount of time you're spending reloading and very vulnerable is minimized compared to if you weren't using it. So definitely, without a doubt, you need to be running sleight of hand. There is no doubt about that. And I'd also suggest for the rear grip that you use Stipple's grip tape. This is because it increases ADS speed, and you also have a slightly faster sprint to fire speed. So let's say you were sprinting a bit, you saw an enemy, you'll be able to aim down sight quicker and shoot them with this grip tape. The secondary, it really doesn't matter what you use. You don't need to use it. It will interfere with your kills, so don't bother changing it at all. For perks, I've just gone for Scavenger in perk 1. It obviously just allows you to pick up more ammo. You're going to go through quite a bit, especially with your when you're wasting it and then reloading and trying to shoot enemies. So definitely Scavenger's good because you can pick it up off dead players. In perk 2, I've gone for High Alert, and this is just so that if there's an enemy outside of your field of view, your screen will flash up yellow and it will show you that someone is looking at you, and then you can quickly sort of turn to see who it is. This is quite useful, especially in free-for-all. I found there's a lot of times where I'll be focusing on an enemy and I don't realize someone is looking at me. With this perk, it means you can see someone's looking at you. You can either get into cover or duck or just do whatever to get out of the enemy's field of view, and then you can find out who was looking at you and try and take them down. And then finally in perk 3, I've gone for Tracker. It just means you can see the enemy footprint trail. It's very good for finding enemies, so wherever they walk, they'll leave that trail, and then you can kind of follow that to find enemies. In terms of equipment, the lethal, again, doesn't really matter. You can go for a frag grenade or whatever. Don't need to use it, so I wouldn't bother. And then for the tactical, I've gone for a stun grenade. Sometimes this can work as well, where you throw it, it'll stun the enemy, and then you can try and shoot them. But unfortunately, the stun time is quite short, so you'd need to kind of throw the stun, reload immediately, and then be very quick about it. The enemy might be slightly confused and a bit put off because of that, and sometimes it'll work, but don't rely on it too much. For kill streaks, I've just gone for the basic non-lethal ones. That's the personal radar and the UAV. These will help you find more enemies on the map, and therefore you can get more kills more quickly by seeking out these enemies to kill them. Now, in terms of field upgrades, you can use stopping power because A, that gives your bullets more damage, which is good for getting kills faster, and you're more likely to win gunfights, but also when you equip this stopping power, you have to reload your weapon again, so that obviously helps with this challenge. But if you don't like using that, you can also use dead silence. Basically means that your footsteps will be much quieter, and I like this because sometimes if you want to sneak up on enemies to get this challenge done, they won't hear your footsteps, because in general, footsteps are really loud in this game, and so using this will help you kind of sneak up on enemies. If there's any other tips I haven't thought of, feel free to leave them down below in the comment section, and be sure to give the video a like to let me know that you found it useful, and be sure to subscribe with your post notifications turned on so you don't miss any of my latest Modern Warfare videos. But that's it from me. Hope you found this video useful. Make sure to check out the videos on screen, and I'll see you all on the next one.